Brazilian butt lift, and why is it so dangerous, or why has it been so dangerous? So this has become popular over the last couple of decades. It's something where you take fat out of your system and you put it back into a different place. It's been known as the deadliest aesthetic procedure ever formed. And the reason for that is in the performance of it, actually. It's not that the idea of putting fat back into your body in itself is that dangerous. So what happens is they take fat out of your body, suck it out. Some surgeons will spin it, but they get the good stuff by various different procedures based on the surgeon, and then they put that fat back into an area where you would most prefer it. So for instance, they might remove it from your abdomen, from your flanks, from your back. They'll do it from anywhere that they can get a decent quality fat, and then they re-inject that fat, or a fat graft or fat transfer for a BBL. It's put back into your buttocks. Now, during that process, the cannula that the surgeon uses is inserted repeatedly deep underneath your skin. And that's fanning out from a few different incision points to distribute the fat across the different areas. And previously, this was known as a blind procedure. So surgeons at that point were inadvertently injuring large vessels in the muscle, or even injecting fat directly into those vessels. And then at that point, the fat could travel via your bloodstream into your heart, your lungs, and then people were dying from pulmonary fat embolism within hours sometimes of the procedure. And it even happened on the operating table. I mean, we've all heard of those. Now, what has happened in the UK is that the BAAPS has implemented some research that was done by Dr. Omar Tillo, and he took us into surgery with him so that we could see what was going on. And what they're doing now is using an ultrasound. So if you're going to have a BBL, make sure that your surgeon is using an ultrasound and understands just exactly where that fat needs to go, because if they put it too superficial, it's not going to work properly, because this fat needs to be redistributed and live within organisms. But if it goes too deep, that's where you start causing the problems. So the surgeon needs to understand exactly where that fat's going, and then at that point, know how to get it in. So be using an ultrasound machine. So just have a think about that. And if you've got any questions, give us a shout. We can help to keep that fat alive once you've had it put in place. So 07757 946 023. Virtual appointments are available if you need some help and advice personally.